What if a single garbled word on the battlefield turned heroes into punchlines? Or worse, sent empires crumbling? Yeah, you heard that right. Funny war miscommunications have flipped the script on history more times than you'd believe. From orders lost in translation to pigs sparking international incidents, these hilarious military blunders prove that even the mightiest armies can trip over their own tongues. Stick around as we unpack the most epic battle mistakes step by step. Some will have you laughing, others shaking your head in disbelief. If you've ever auto-corrected a text into disaster, these stories are next level. Let's dive in. First, let's lay the groundwork. Wars are chaotic symphonies of strategy, but toss in human quirks like language barriers, foggy signals, or plain old haste, and you've got a recipe for hilarious disaster. Experts from places like the US Army War College say miscommunication accounts for up to 30% of battlefield. Fails think ancient couriers on horseback to today's encrypted radios glitching out. The surprising twist? These slip-ups aren't just tragic. They're often absurdly funny in hindsight, offering lessons on why clear comms can save lives. We'll stroll through history sequentially, starting with classics and ramping up to the wildest ones that nearly rewrote the world map. Suspense alert. Each tale builds tension, then drops a jaw-dropping reveal. Kick off with the charge of the Light Brigade in 1854's Crimean War, a textbook hilarious battle mistake. British forces eye Russian artillery retreating near Balaclava. Commander Lord Raglan pens a quick note. Advance rapidly. Prevent the enemy carrying away the guns. Clear. Not so much. The order trickles down via Captain Nolan, who, in a heated moment, waves vaguely at a deadly valley packed with cannons, not the safe flank Raglan meant. Suspense mounts as Lord Cardigan leads 670 cavalry into the jaws of hell, Tennyson's Valley of Death. Russian guns thunder from every angle. Men and horses drop in waves. In 20 brutal minutes, over 100 dead, 130 wounded. The shocker? It was all a pointed finger and fuzzy phrasing. Cardigan survived, muttering about his doomed lineage. This funny war miscommunication sparked military reforms. But imagine the post-battle debrief. Wait, you meant that hill? Next up, zoom to 1859's Pig War, a border beef between the US and Britain that hilariously escalated over breakfast bacon. On disputed San Juan Island, American farmer Lyman Cutler blasts a British pig munching his spuds. Trespassing, he claims. The pig's owner, from the Hudson's Bay Company, demands cash. Cutler nopes out. Word zips up the chain British threaten jail. Americans rally troops. Tension simmers as US Captain George Pickett, pre-Gettysburg fame, digs in with 66 men, facing Britain's 3 warships and 2,000 soldiers. But here's the fun part. No shots fired. Commanders, old war buddies, swap dinners and toasts instead. After 12 years, arbitration gives the island to the US. Only victim? The pig. This epic battle mistake shows how a farmyard flap, amplified by poor diplomacy, nearly ignited a transatlantic war, all from not clarifying fence lines. Now, crank the absurdity to 11 with 1788's Battle of Karansebes, where Austrians hilariously clobbered themselves. Amid the Austro-Turkish War, 100,000 troops near Romania scout ahead. Hussars snag schnapps from villagers and party hard. Infantry arrives, demanding sips. Hussars refuse. A shove, a shot boom, chaos. Cries of Turks. Turks! Echo, but Austria's polyglot army. Germans, Hungarians, slaves mishears. Officers yell, halt, sounding like Allah. To some, panic spreads. Cannons pound friendly lines. Troops fire blindly. A stampede flattens camp. By morning, 1,200 dead from their own side. The real Turks stroll in days later to an empty win. Emperor Joseph II even got bucked off his horse in the mess. Language barriers turned a booze brawl into self-sabotage talk about a hangover. Shifting gears to the 1932 Emu War in Australia, a feathered fiasco that's pure comedy gold. Post-WWI, farmers battle emus ravaging wheat crops 20,000 birds strong. Government deploys Major G.P.W. Meredith with machine guns, expecting easy pickings. But emus? Speedy survivors, dodging bullets like pros, orders fly, ambush here. But miscommunications in the field, spotty radios, vast outback lead to whiffs. One battle sees troops fire 2,500 rounds, hitting maybe 50 birds. Emus scatter, regroup, even command their flocks per reports. After weeks, army retreats, emus claim victory. The twist? Politicians mocked it as a war on wildlife, sparking fence-building reforms. This hilarious military blunder proves nature doesn't follow scripts. Hop to 1838's Pastry War, where a sweet tooth sparked France versus Mexico. In riot-torn Mexico City, a French baker's shop gets looted pastries smashed, ovens wrecked. Owner Remontel petitions King Louis Philippe for 60,000 pesos compensation. Mexico shrugs. France demands more for other claims. Suspense builds. France blockades Veracruz, seizes ships. Mexico declares war. French troops storm ashore. Capture the port, Mexico pays up, ends the spat in months. Casualties low, but the reveal? It cost France more than the claim. Nicknamed for the pastry trigger, this funny war miscommunication highlights how trivial gripes, poorly negotiated, balloon into invasions. Don't miss 1739's War of Jenkins' Ear, Britain versus Spain over a sliced lobe. British Captain Robert Jenkins claims Spanish Coast Guards boarded his ship, cut off his ear for smuggling. He presents the pickled ear in Parliament years later, fueling outrage. But was it miscommunication? Reports exaggerated. Jenkins' tale shifted. War erupts. Naval clashes. Failed invasions like Cartagena. Thousands die. Merges into wider conflicts. The shocker. No solid proof the ear-lopping happened, as told propaganda twisted facts into a decade-long grudge match. Flash to Webwe Ustatni's Mokusatsu mishap in 1945. Allies demand Japan's surrender via Potsdam Declaration. PM Kantaro Suzuki responds, Mokusatsu meant as no comment for now. Translators render it as ignore with contempt. Allies see rejection. Days later, Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombed. The gut punch? A single word's nuance could have averted atomic horror, saving 200,000 lives. This epic battle mistake underscores translation's life or death stakes, or 1950s Korean War trigger. U.S. Secretary Dean Acheson speeches Asia's defense perimeter, omitting Korea. North Korea interprets as green light, invades South. 3 years, millions dead, all from an off-cuff omission. Back to 1754. Young George Washington signs a French document admitting assassination of an envoy unread due to language gap. Sparks 7 Years' War, reshaping global powers. And 1889's Italo-Ethiopian War, treaty verb flip optional versus mandatory, turns Ethiopia into claimed colony. Emperor Menelik rejects. Crushes Italians at Adwa. Even quick hits. Zaporozhian Cossacks' 1676 vulgar reply to Ottoman surrender demand pure sass, no war but legendary burn. Or 1714's polite ammo request between Danish and British ships declined courteously, no harm. These tales provoke a thought. In war's fog, a whisper or gesture can cascade into catastrophe or comedy. With today's AI comms, are we safer, or just inventing new blunders? What's your take funniest mix-up ever? Comment below. Like if you chuckled, subscribe for more viral history facts. Your story might make the next vid.